Hello guys, this is Sapphire Yagami with the season finale of Sleepy Hollow. Now the season finale is actually two episodes being played back to back. The first episode is episode 12, The Indispensable Man, which is it's called The Indispensable Man. So Ichabod is busy with George Washington's Bible trying to figure out the date which was written 4 days after this. Like, okay, what's the meaning behind this date? Is it, so he's like looking at, astronomy and all this stuff, trying to figure out what does this date mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? And so Abby, who's at her home fixing herself something to eat while she's also laughing at Ichabod's text, because he's kind of getting, obviously, he's from the time of the American Revolution, and obviously cell phones and texting wasn't, invented back then. So he's getting used to it, and there's like actually seeing what she sends a comment and the semicolon, left parentheses. So he's like, so he looks at it like, what the heck? And then he turns and he's like, oh, it's a man's face. Interesting. That's like so cute. Oh. So while Abby, cooking herself something to eat, Andy decides to stop by. If you don't know who Andy is played by John Cho. He is a servant of Morlock, and he died, I believe, in the first episode, and then is brought back to life. So he pretty much pleads with Abby to give up the Bible, for it contains a map which can be used as a weapon, which Morlock really, really wants. That's why he wants the freaking thing so bad, the freaking Bible. So Abby refuses to give the Bible, and then Andy confesses that he is trying to save her because he loves her. I was like, Blasian love, yes! Even though he's kind of dead, but yes! Abby then sends Ichabod a text stating that she's on her way to inform Crane of what, Andy just told her. So the map is revealed to show the doors to Purgatory. Purgatory is that place between Purgatory. If you know what Purgatory is that place where soul's supposed to go and supposed to work out their situation so they could either go up to heaven, you get yourself purified, you go up to heaven, or if you don't, wash yourself of your sins and whatnot, you go to hell. That's kind of how it works. That's how this works. Okay. And also, this also catches Ichabod's interest because, well, his wife Katrina is trapped in Purgatory. So Abby and Ichabod then call the Sin Eater, Henry Parrish, to help them by eating the sins that are laced inside the prayer beads of the priest who was beheaded also earlier this season. And as the Sin Eater touches the beads, it is discovered that the priest was a warlock and actually resurrected, our president, George Washington. So Abby now believes that the map maybe is hidden for a reason and should not be found. Some things are lost and some not meant to be found. Marlowe then sends some creatures of evil to attack them, and meanwhile, down in those old tunnels used during the water, to have travel of ammunition. We have Andy down there who's begging his master to make him a weapon because his master's like, oh dude, you're weak, I'm not gonna use anything. But he's like, I'm begging you, please make me a weapon to be used in the war, please. He does this begging. So they got these weird bug things that come at him and wrap him up in this cocoon, in which he then later emerges more powerful, and he's like, he kind of has like a milky substance to his skin. I'm guessing that's because he just came out the cocoon. And then his head is like a dome, like this weird, okay, if you ever seen the movie Independence Day, and you know how the mothership was kind of shaped? That's kind of like his head was shaped like the mothership of the Independence Day movie. That's how his head was shaped, like a weird dome looking shape thing. And his eyes were like black and stuff. So, Ichabod, Abby, and Henry then discover the whereabouts of the map is actually hidden within George Washington's burial ground, which is not actually at the cemetery, is in a secret location due to the fact that, George Washington was a Mason. So we have to use Mason clues to figure out what the heck he is. So Ichabod is also using his new phone, and he's having problems getting service. And then we have another clash of past meets modern society when he noticed it on the phone because he's using Abby's phone because he was kind of mad that he had to use because nobody uses the flip phone no more because that's the one she gave him. He wanted the new one where you can do little touch stuff. That's what he wanted. All jealous and stuff. Like, I want the new one. So he's using Abby's phone, and he notices that okay, cause how we all got our such thing, and we have our stuff, our notifications, right? So her notification pop up, and so he's like questioning about this social network service. Obviously, he's talking about Facebook because he refers to why the heck she has so many friends when he only had 7, and so then Abby laughs. and tells them that the word friend today has a different meaning among society. Like, everybody has friends on Facebook, but doesn't mean we actually know these people in real life. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't actually mean we actually know these people in real life. Like, my Facebook friends, like, majority of them are my family and friends and people I've met on Facebook itself. But majority of other people is, I haven't really met them personally. But yeah, they're considered friends on Facebook. I haven't met them personally. And so as they continue on, Abby asks Henry if the prophecy about the two witnesses betraying each other is true. To which he replies yes, but it was kept out of the Bible when it was, getting translated into English. That also makes you wonder how much other stuff was kept from the Bible when it got translated into English. So Ichabod then finds Washington's burial site and with Abby's help moves this large rock which unlocks a trap door which leads underground. So back at the police station, Cynthia calls her ex-husband Irving, who arrives to find that his daughter is having DNA samples taken because she's a suspect in the murder of the two officers from the previous episode. Irving states that they do not have a right because they didn't come with a warrant. You can't, because you're not supposed to do stuff like this without a warrant. You gotta go through, that's the law. You just when you just as you if you get arrested, you gotta have your Miranda rights read. They didn't have a warrant to get DNA samples from this 13-year-old girl, and so they tell them, like, if we find that her DNA matches the one that's the DNA on the two officers and the priest, that we're gonna have to arrest her. I'm like, this girl is freaking 13, really, really. Oh. So then back at the tomb, there in the middle of the floor is a Masonic pyramid. Like, there's actually a pyramid. There's a pyramid. Obviously, you know what a pyramid looks like. And it has a pentacle on it with one eye in the middle. Then we have some angels around it. Like if you ever seen like movies that involve Masonic things, that's what it looks like. So Abby then tells Abby not to touch the pyramid, for it may be a booby trap. So then Ichabod then goes around, looks around, and notices a picture of this Roman emperor. You know how kind of like pictures of Rome emperors used to look, when they had those leaf thingies on their head. I'm guessing that would be the crown, and then their faces look like they on a dime or something. Yeah. So, so he then notices, looks at it closer and notices there's like this little hole in the wall, and then he takes his ring off and puts it inside. Hey, it's a key. It opens up, and hello, George Washington's grave. Ichabod then opens the grave to reveal the skeleton of George Washington, whose teeth, by the way, does not look at all decayed. He removes the map from the corpse, and soon Andy arrives, blocking the entrance with this large freaking boulder. He then tries to kill Abby, and the Cindy then touches him, which brings Andy to his senses, like, hey, you like this girl. Remember, you like her. And then begs Abby to please kill me. So then she puts like this stick thing through his freaking head. And then they have to figure out another way out. So as they finally discover the exit, Andy then reanimates and heads for them. So then Abby shoots the lever upon the pyramid, which causes the tomb to collapse. And thus, Andy's fate, I'm pretty sure he's dead, unless he survives that, then I don't know what to do. Ichabod talks with Abby, and they decide that the map is too dangerous, and they decide to burn it. But back at the station, in order to protect his daughter, Captain Irving confesses to the murders of the officers and is then arrested. Ichabod is back at the cabin which he now stays in, which was Sheriff Corbin's cabin. His thoughts are being flooded with the memories of his wife. All these memories he's had of her. When she visits him in his dreams and stuff like that. So he then takes a pencil and some paper and recreates a map from Purgatory because he has an edict memory. He could just remember. He just look at something once and he could just remember it. So in the next episode, it's titled Bad Blood. Now, ooh boy, this episode had me like, my jaws was dropping at this episode because of like, I did not expect this. Like, it really threw me off. I was like, what? You kidding me? What? So, it begins with the Scent Eater, Henry Parrish, having a vision of Morlock summoning somebody, right? And so Ichabod, however, is seen outside following a woman with red hair, and he thinks it's extreme. But he then finds himself in the middle of an American Revolution reenactment. And then, of course, as Ichabod normally is when it comes to history, he has to give the correct, stuff that actually happened. Like I think he was complaining about the suits they was wearing. He was like, no, we didn't actually wear this, and we was not actually this battalion. It was actually this one. The girl was like, dude, like, whatever. like pretty much saying, I really don't care. I'm just doing this to get paid or whatever. He's like, I really don't care. So he then gets a call from Henry, who says, "Yo, I need to speak to you and Abby immediately." So then we have later Henry telling Abby, Ichabod, and Jennifer of his vision in which Morlock is summoning the second horseman of the apocalypse. War. Huh. Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Oh, yeah. So it is also the anniversary of the day Jennifer and Abby first saw Morlock in the woods. Abby heads to the station to help helping Captain Irvin's trial, only to find out that he's been moved upstate, but he left something for her. So then she returns back to find out Ichabod has discovered a way to prevent the horsemen from rising, which requires the assistance of a witch. And all the witches they have met so far obviously are evil, and the only one they know that is good is, well, Katrina, who is actually trapped in purgatory. And since Irving left a few tapes behind, Jennifer has to go through them. Is the one who has to go through them and figure out to see if that they left any clues or anything. Corbin left any clues, but she is not happy that her sister is voluntarily going into purgatory because she doesn't want to lose her sister. Because because Morlock says that Ichabod will give up her soul, and and your sister's voluntarily going into purgatory. It's kind of creepy. So Ichabod, Abby, and Henry head to the island, which was in episode. Well, the Horsemen of Pestilence would have came about, but the episode with the virus was spreading. It was that episode, that island area, to find the doors to purgatory. Henry warns them both that when purgatory would pretty much play with their minds and not to eat anything. So Abby and Ichabod then read the little incantation to open the doors and enter into purgatory, where they are then separated. Abby finds herself waking up, and both Andy and Corbin are telling her that she suffered some minor injuries from her FBI training. So they then go down to South Pie when Abby realizes, this isn't real, start getting flashbacks of her talking to, Ichabod, like, okay, where's Ichabod? This is not real. So they then try to like, yes, this is real. Come on, Abby, come on. Then they go from looking nice and peaceful to go to really, really creepy. And then she looks down at the pie and starts bleeding. I'm like, ugh. And then Corbin is seen holding his head because he was beheaded, and then Andy is seen with his head touching his spine because that's how he died. And then Abby is seen then thrown out this wood door with this freaking bright light. So then Ichabod is then seen back in his time being congratulated by his father and his peers on, apparently we beat the British, woo, which we actually did, but in this case, Ichabod would have survived. So woo, we beat the British, yeah. And then Ichabod, his dad gives him the drinks, and he's like, Dad, you hated me because I was going against the British and stuff like this. Like, okay, so obviously the dude was a really bad daddy. So Ichabod almost is about to drink this out. I'm like, no! And then he realizes, yo, this ain't real. This is not real. And then his bother been's clicking out. And then he chews the glass and starts to bleed, and his voice becomes more dramatic and go, ah, da, da. And then Ichabod is then seen thrown out the window of a bright light. So then he finds himself awoke. And he's surrounded by a bunch of lost souls. You got one with a girl, she has no face. You got a dude crawling out the ground. You got two little black figures crawling around and stuff. You got souls just wandering and stuff like this. And then he goes to find Abby, who stays down upon the ground. And he kind of startles her when you touch her, So then back on the Earth plane, Jennifer is going through the tapes and files, which leads her to an abandoned church, whose name of the saint will tell them the name of their enemy. The name of the church is the name of a saint, who is also the name of their enemy. So we don't see it yet. So as she drives back and tries to call the sister, like, hey, I found out the name. The headless horseman shoots her tires, causing her crash. And her fate is unknown because we just see her with a head wound and unconscious at the moment. So we don't know if she died or she's just currently unconscious. So we don't know. So back in Purgatory, Abby and Ichabod head to the church where they find Katrina, who states that she cannot leave unless she has been forgiven. And the alternative way for she can leave is that somebody must stay in her place. So now we know how that prophecy comes about. So Abby, knowing that the prophecy had to happen, decides that she'll stay, which Ichabod refuses. So they hug it out, like, we're going to come back for you, And so Katrina then gives Abby a pendant for protection while Morlock is kind of like beating at the door of the church. So Katrina and Ichabod then have to hurry and leave Purgatory while Abby runs from Morlock, defending herself or whatnot. So Katrina then uses a spell to find the horseman's grave in order to bind him, but reveals there's no body in this ground. And then Henry then ties both Ichabod and Katrina to a tree and reveals that, oh my goodness, I did not see this coming. I'm so serious, I did not see this coming. Not only is he the horseman of war, But he is also their son, Jeremy, who was believed to be killed by Katrina's coven. That threw me off. I'm like, what? He's their son? Oh my god, what? I was like, that tripped me. I was like, no way, no way, no way. So obviously, he became the horseman of the apocalypse because he was angry. He's angry at his parents. He's angry at his parents because his mama had to give him up, and not only that, it was her coven that killed him, and then his daddy died on the field, which he couldn't control that. You know, if they, Katrina did what she had to do was best for him. You know, best for him. You know, she had to give up to try to keep him safe. But as we know, if you remember the episode Golem, he was in the orphanage where the priest was abusing him, and then he created a golem because the golem was created out of his all these feelings that he had. You know, the loss of his mom and his dad. He never really knew. And so Ichabod and Katrina is just in the trees crying, like, because their son is now a horseman of evil. That means they're gonna have to try to defeat their own child. That's what parent wants to kill their own child to protect the freaking world? It's like, oh my goodness, that threw me. I'm like, oh my goodness, what? Meanwhile, with Abby, who's still in Purgatory, she finds herself in the dollhouse that her and her sister used to have when they were younger, and she actually encounters her younger self and her younger sister self, who reveals that Henry's true identity to her, because that's who she saw in the woods. Her memory more like took her memory away. So when she touches her, she sees that Henry is being risen from the ground that day in the woods when they saw Morlock for the first time. So Abby's like, oh snap, I have to get out of here. And her younger self was like, you can't get out of here. You're trapped in here forever. I'm like, oh crap. And then in the final moments of this episode, the Headless Horseman comes and takes Katrina away. Because he said he was going to get Katrina back. Even though she don't want you. She didn't want you. She wanted Ichabod, dude. Get over it. When a girl don't want you, she don't want you. Move on. Like, Jesus. Like, move on. And then Henry throws Ichabod into this grave and then breaks the second seal of the apocalypse and then buries his father alive. And that's how the season finale ends, with a big old shocker that I did not see coming. Like, what? 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 That threw me. Oh, Henry is their kid? Wow. And the Horseman Apocalypse. So now you gotta sit here and defeat your son. Oh my goodness. This show. Oh boy, this show is so good. I can't wait for the second season. So tell me what you guys thought of the season finale, The Indispensable Man and Bad Blood. So comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you guys this fall for season 2 of Sleepy Hollow.